thought that this meeting was next Tuesday, and he was going to have a plan for me that would depict bedroom count and unit size and a number of units that would fit in the building. We do anticipate using the existing building. So my suggestion is that this matter be continued until those exhibits are ready so that the council can see what they actually, if they were to make this vote, what they may be getting. Remembering that the biggest difference between GBD and Business Central is that I could develop residential properties by asking for a special permit. So this city council would get 2 bites if it eventually were to approve the zone change. That would still not open the door for the housing. You need to remember that I would still need to apply for the special permit. So I wanted to have those exhibits that I'll need when I eventually come to the city council. So I would respectfully request that this matter be continued until your next subcommittee meeting, and then I will take it off the full council agenda. And I think your meeting may be the 31st.
We are meeting on the 31st, Council.
So if I could respectfully request that this matter go over to the 31st, and then I can also stretch the city council's deliberations to they're not meeting, you're not meeting 31st, are you?
No, it's just a subcommittee.
Just the subcommittee.
Correct.
So I could go to the February meeting.
Council Matsoulis, this is your ward. What would you like to do?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any problem with carrying over to the date we're talking about, but I want to make sure that the neighborhood is aware of this meeting, and I hope they're all contacted, because there are a lot of people that are going to show up in opposition to this issue, and I just want to make sure that my neighbors are all informed as to the date and the time. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Just out of curiosity, do you want me to do that notice, or because there isn't really an abutters notification under zone changes?
According to the clerk, there is a butter notification.
Oh, there was?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah.
Councilor Matsoulis.
Tim, I've seen the notifications, okay? And they go mainly to the abutters, and the people that abut on the streets like Mount Vernon Street, Fulton Street, Tracy Street, Harris and Pallilogus. Is it possible that you could send the people in that street a notice?
It is, yeah. I don't know how far we're going to stretch it. I mean,
Well,
we usually go
I
by-
think if you do half the street, the other half through word of mouth is going to find out anyways. You know, half of each street.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
Yeah, if you don't mind. I know it's laying a little work on you. I mean, I plan to knock on a few doors myself, but I just want to make sure the neighborhood's aware of it. Thank you.
Attorney Kelty has offered to do that. Would you like Attorney Kelty to do the legwork on that? With your guidance? Counselor? Prefer we do it through the clerk's
I
office?
trust him a little
Okay.
more, and it's got nothing to do with Jack.
I can't believe you went there, Councilor Matsoulis. I gave you an opportunity to bow right out of that.
Don't mince words.
How do you really feel?
Oh, listen, we're great guys. We're great friends. We go out, we have a drink together, but you know, in here it's all business.
Okay, we'll do that, Councilor Matsoulis.
you.
Thank you. Any other comments before we make a motion to continue? Fellow councilors? No? Councilor Matsoulis, would you make a motion to continue, please?
A motion to continue to what date do we use? To January 31st, that time, Tim? Is there a time, or we haven't said it yet?
There isn't a, well, no, because it's an off Thursday.
Okay,
so
well-
probably 6:30, but
Okay,
we haven't actually set the
okay.
calendar yet.
Okay, so moved, Mr. Chairman.
You heard the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? That's a vote. Thank you, councilors. Attorney Kelty, since time does permit, you had one other item you'd like to discuss in regards to...
Last year I had brought a petition before the city council to amend the zoning ordinance so as to provide for retail use in the industrial zone, which is located at 58 Pulaski Street. And that was being done with an eye toward trying to get the Habitat for Humanity into that industrial park. They are in, but their retail portion is very, very confined, and there's some very strict rules about where you can see the product, where you can buy the product, how you actually do see it. So I've been asked to try to bring that to some kind of completion. And I knew that the council, through the original subcommittee, the council had some objections to being able to have maybe alcohol in the industrial park. I think there was concern about tobacco products being drugs, drugstores and things like that. So if I were to, tweak what I was asking for, I could eliminate some of those uses and bring it back to the committee. And I've been asked actually to finish the job, if you will, for Habitat, which I thought once they got in, I thought they were satisfied, but it turns out they're not exactly in the best shape they could be. So I will try to remove the issues that the council was objecting to. I would also perhaps limit the amount of retail space that you could have. No big boxes. You couldn't open a Costco or any other such thing. So I would tweak the zoning that I had presented earlier so as to eliminate those concerns and try to revive it. So I'm looking for a little guidance.
Counselor, can you shut your mic off, please? Unless, Counselor Mitsoulas, do you want to make a comment? I have two other counselors that...
that did not go through my committee, so let
Okay.
Whoever wants to speak on it, and then I
I
will make a
have, just
comment.
prior to getting comments from the other counselors, I have visited this store. It's unfortunate the way it's set up now. Just the front of it is set up for retail, no customer. They're only allowed in the front section of the building, and that's what you were referring to.
Yes.
They can move...
Apparently they have to become a member in order to get into the back to see the product?
I don't know
They get
that.
these voluntary...
I don't know that, but it's become
Yeah.
quite cumbersome, and it's not in... I don't think it's how we intended it to happen, but Councilor Sasslaw, you're up, please.
So I was there 2 weeks ago and purchased a major appliance, and it wasn't cumbersome. Actually, I'd been there when they first opened, where you couldn't go back a certain point. Now they've extended it and opened up tremendously, so I was going to ask you this. I don't know what the issue is now, because they basically at least doubled the amount of space that you can now walk in. So I'm surprised to hear that there's still an issue, because I was there when they opened up 6 months ago. I saw the wall, and then I purchased a major appliance, I said 2 weeks ago, and now that wall has come down, and it's a much larger area that you can shop, for lack of a better word. So I'm perplexed. So I would just ask you to maybe, I think you talked about membership. I think you're a little perplexed too. So maybe you get some more details, because, it seemed fine to me 2 weeks ago. So I don't know.
Thank you, Councilor Sasslaw. Councilor Turco, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is not in relation to Habitat itself. I do agree that we need to address that issue. But since we have Mr. Bellavance here, isn't there a larger overlay district that you're going to come to this council with those same properties? And are these going to conflict with each other, your overlay as opposed to Attorney Kelty's suggestion?
Yes, Kurt Bellavance for the Community Development Department. Yes, there's a what's called a mill overlay district that I've put together that includes smaller retail. I know Attorney Kelty mentioned something about excluding big box. That this one would exclude. I think it was limited to less than 4,500 square feet of retail. I'm not sure offhand by right, but then further than that would be a special permit up to a maximum of maybe 10,000 or less. So yes, it included, that mill overlay district can be applied to any district within the industrial. I was looking at Pulaski Street as the first attempt to bring this on board to see what it could do. So yes, that would potentially could include Mr. Kelty's property that he's referencing.
So with that said, should you two just work together and do one presentation to this subcommittee and put everybody's on the same
I'd
page
be
as to
happy
what you
do
want to
that.
do?
I had spoken briefly to Kurt, and yes, we'd be happy to do that.
Okay,
And I do believe that if this property generally was to be included in the mill overlay district, that would solve the problem.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Turco. Any other councilors? I think that's a great suggestion. So we will, Councilor Mitsoulas will continue this.
Yeah, continue it. Great idea, and I think Kurt's the right guy to help him out, and I think we'll solve this problem.
Attorney Kelty, would you like to come back on the 31st in this regards too, or do you need more time?
Yes.
Yes, you need more time, or yes, you'll be here? All right. It's okay, Mr. Clerk? All right, if there's no further discussion, take a motion to adjourn, please. Thank you. Motion adjourned.